Humans love conspiracy theories and always have. There's even evidence that ancient Romans had a few. Today, with the advent of the internet, they seem to be everywhere. But even though the term is generally pejorative, that doesn't mean people aren't out to get you. What follows are some conspiracy theories that turned out to be at least partially or presciently true. So let's have a look on these conspiracy theories that turned out to be true. Before we start, please subscribe the channel by clicking the red subscribe button below. This will help us to make more exciting stuff for you. So sit back and enjoy the video. The horror of Project Sunshine. Conspiracy: the government was stealing dead bodies to do radioactive testing. The truth: in the wake of Hiroshima and Nagasaki, the US government commenced a major study to measure the effects of nuclear fallout on the human body. The government was stealing parts of dead bodies. Because they needed young tissue, they recruited a worldwide network of agents to find recently deceased babies and children. And then take samples and even limbs, each collected without notification or permission of the more than 1,500 grieving families. The world only woke up to the horrific scientific history of Project Sunshine half a century later. But there are still a lot of unexplained mysteries out there. Bad booze. Conspiracy: during Prohibition, the government poisoned alcohol to keep people from drinking. The truth: manufacturers of industrial alcohol had been mixing their product with dangerous chemicals for years prior to Prohibition. But between 1926 and 1933, the federal government pushed manufacturers to use stronger poisons to discourage bootleggers from turning the alcohol into moonshine. That didn't stop the bootleggers or their customers, and by the end of Prohibition, more than 10,000 Americans had been killed by tainted booze. Much of the illegal booze was sold in infamous night spots called speakeasies, so called from the practice of speaking quietly about such a place in public, or when inside it, so as not to alert the police and neighbors. Government mind control. MKUltra. Conspiracy: the CIA was testing LSD and other hallucinogenic drugs on Americans in a top-secret experiment on behavior modification. The truth: the program was known as MKUltra, and it was real. The CIA started by using volunteers. The novelist Ken Kesey was one notable subject. But the program had soon began dosing people without their knowledge. MKUltra left many victims permanently mentally disabled. At the present time, another drug that alters food and perception and is causing great public concern because of its harmful effects is meth. The Bohemian Grove. Conspiracy: the hosting of the Bohemian Grove. The truth: in California, the owners of a place called the Bohemian Grove host a gathering of the world's richest and most powerful people for a period of 2 weeks. Reportedly, this is where members enjoy meals together, and share a passion for the outdoors, music, and theater. Ronald Reagan and Richard Nixon are just a couple of the aristocratic elite who have attended. It's also said that initial plans for the first atomic bomb were conceived here. Members also perform rituals on site, including the worshipping of a giant wooden owl statue. Canada tried to develop Gaydar. Conspiracy: the Canada government was so paranoid about homosexuality that it developed a Gaydar machine. The truth: it really happened. In the 1960s, the government hired a university professor to develop a way to detect homosexuality in federal employees. He came up with a machine that measured pupil dilation in response to same-sex erotic imagery. The Canadian government used it to exclude or fire more than 400 men from civil service, the military, and the Mounties. The Dalai Lama's impressive salary. Conspiracy: the Dalai Lama is a CIA agent. The truth: perhaps the reason the Dalai Lama is smiling in all those photos has something to do with the six-figure salary he pulled down from the US government during the 1960s. According to declassified intelligence documents, he earned $180,000 in connection with the CIA's funding of the Tibetan resistance to the tune of $1.7 million per year. The idea was to disrupt and hamper China's infrastructure. The Dalai Lama is believed to have the power to choose the body into which he is reincarnated, meaning that the current Dalai Lama is a reincarnation of the last. Today millions of people, across all religions, believe in reincarnation. John Lennon was under government surveillance. Conspiracy: the FBI was spying on former Beatle John Lennon. The truth: they most certainly were. Like many counterculture heroes, Lennon was considered a threat. Anti-war songs, like Give Peace a Chance, didn't exactly endear former Beatle John Lennon to the Nixon administration, NPR reported in 2010. In 1971, the FBI put Lennon under surveillance, and the Immigration and Naturalization Service tried to deport him a year later. In 1957, John Lennon and Paul McCartney met at a party in Woolton. Just yards away from their meeting place was the grave of Eleanor Rigby. A bizarre coincidence, or not? And if you still have records from that time, you may bag a few quid. Fake battle, real war. Conspiracy: the Gulf of Tonkin incident on August 2, 1964, was faked to provoke American support for the Vietnam War. The truth: by the time news reached American ears, the facts surrounding the North Vietnamese attack on the American naval ship Maddox were already fuzzy. Declassified intelligence documents have since revealed that the Maddox had provided support for South Vietnamese attacks on a nearby island and that the North Vietnamese were responding in kind. According to the U.S. Naval Institute, the event opened the floodgates for direct American military involvement in Vietnam. There is alien evidence in the American Southwest. Conspiracy: E.T. is buried in the desert of New Mexico. The truth: this one is real. The Atari video game E.T. the extraterrestrial failed so miserably that the company buried unsold cartridges in a desert landfill. Wait, what did you think we meant? Real aliens? In New Mexico? Not yet, anyway. It is not easy to bury things forever. The government is spying on you. Conspiracy: with the advances in technology, the government is using its vast resources to track citizens. The truth: in 2016, government agencies sent 49,868 requests for user data to Facebook, 27,850 to Google, and 9,076 to Apple, according to the Electronic Frontier Foundation, (DF), a major non-profit organization that defends civil liberties in the digital world and advises the public on matters of internet privacy. The U.S. government, with assistance from major telecommunications carriers including AT&T, has engaged in massive, illegal dragnet surveillance of the domestic communications and communications records of millions of ordinary Americans since at least 2001. Since this was first reported on by the press and discovered by the public in late 2005, F has been at the forefront of the effort to stop it and bring government surveillance programs back within the law and the Constitution. That was all. If you enjoyed the video, please subscribe the channel for more exciting stuff. Thanks for watching. Take care and goodbye.